ṣèṣì tẹ́lẹ̀ pé.
Unit. We no wan hear am. As we just reach there, we no wan hear say seat no dey, men dey come dey go back to their house. Like, no follow here. As we, yeah, okay, yes. So our bench are ready. We are taking them to the polling unit. This is the second one. We are all obedient to the polling unit. We no wan hear am. As we just reach there, we no wan hear say seat no dey, men dey come dey go back to their house. Like, no follow here. Hope you are in your polling unit. You are watching this video from your polling unit. If you are watching it from your house, if you like say thunder won't fire you, Okay, yes. So our bench are ready. We are taking them to the polling unit. This is the second one. We are all obedient to the polling unit. We no wan hear am. As we just reach there, we no wan hear say seat no dey, men dey come dey go back to their house. Like, no follow here. Hope you are in your polling unit. You are watching this video from your polling unit. If you are watching it from your house, if you like say thunder won't fire you, Okay, yes. So our bench.
but it's not very far from the street known as Sunday Atiku. That is where the presidential candidate of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC will be casting his vote much later. We haven't seen him yet, but we are just seeing the electoral officers arriving. This is just about 9:45 a.m. They are here. I don't know if I could just manage to take my phone a little bit closer so that you could see for yourself how they are beginning to sort the materials. This is where Bola Ahmed Tinubu will cast his vote. I haven't seen the voter register to be able to ascertain exactly what number he is on the register. We will find out. This is what is going on right now.
Thank you so much, Omo. Long before Body Long came, that street, Sunday Adigu, has always been a beehive of activity in Ikeja. That is Bola Tinubu's original home.
Bringing you blow by blow accounts of everything that is happening right here in Alausa. Alausa is a district of in Ikeja, the capital of Lagos. It's right. It houses the state secretariat, and this is where the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress (APC), Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we expect him to cast his vote much later in the day. We understand that this is where he has always cast his vote, even though we got information that his polling unit was moved a few distance, but along the same line, the same street. So we are right here. A few minutes ago, just before the arrival of the electoral officers, we saw a contingent of officials of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. They came in here, walked in and walked out without saying anything, without talking to nobody. They just came, inspected maybe took a surveillance video of what is going on, and they quietly, walked away. We don't know if they're going to come back, but we'll be here to give you all the details as they unfold. But so far, so good. In some other parts of Ikeja, just arriving this place, I have to go through so many other places. It's been relatively calm. The only thing has been that there's been some slight delay, just like at this center. Electoral officers not arriving, earlier as scheduled. Elections, according to INEC, were supposed to have started by 8:30 this morning, but this is 9:48, and the electoral officers right here at the polling unit, where the candidate of the ruling All Progressive Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will cast his vote, but nothing yet specifically is happening except for the fact that electoral officers are just beginning to mount the ballot box, mount the polling booths, put the gadgets in the right places. We haven't gadgets in the right places, and that's so much about what is going on right now for now here in Alausa.
Okay, Omo, I know that it's a little bit difficult to do a one-on-one.
Ebuka, let me ask questions.
Your Excellency, can you comment on the air surrounding these elections?
Yes,
we've seen the Naira redesign policy, perhaps choking, what we used to know about the influence of money politics. This atmosphere, is it a good legacy President Muhammadu Buhari will be leaving?
Your Excellency, from Channels TV would like to know your expectations. You've just voted, and we want to know what you expect from this 2023 presidential election.
The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party answering questions just about the time he concluded his voting in Yola, Adamawa State. And of course, some of the sights and the sounds that coming from there. An interesting scenario saying a lot of heads of people, who wanted to see. I mean, it's almost difficult for him to perform this exercise according to the dictate, the specific dictate of open secret ballot system, because they were all crowded around him. Yeah. And these are perhaps supposed
starting their own process, yes.
You see
the man in green is doing his own.
Okay, this na BBC News Pidgin, and we dey live for inside Agolo, where the Labour Party presidential candidate from, and here we dey na Anambra State. And wetin dey happen today for Nigeria na the presidential election we go hold today for all the 36 states wey dey inside Nigeria plus the FCT Abuja. So we go dey give una update with wetin dey happen for here and wetin dey happen for Agolo, especially where the Labour Party candidate go cast im vote this morning, and then we go dey give una with any information wey una want, especially for Anambra State. Una good morning. Okay, this now.
You have to make it part. It's not part of anybody. Nobody was born in a line. Not even the twins. They struggle. They separate them. It's something you learn. It's an acquired taste that will help. Nobody was there. It's not part of anybody. It's just that there are two things. One is incentive, and the other is punishment. So we get it.
Voting is underway in Katsina.
Yes,
the president will be showing there. I'm not going to say that the president might show. Of course, he is going to show.
Well, he's going to vote. He's expected to vote.
But now let's see if we can grab one or two. Let me try for update in Delta State. Ikenna Amechi in Delta State. Good morning to you, Ikenna.
Good morning.
Good morning. Aha, there you go.
You're
in Delta State. Yes, the governor has just voted. Please continue. Give us the situation report.
Come. Please.
Okay. Yuri, you said what? You can come back with that again.
Go ahead and give us a situation report, please. We saw that the governor has just voted.
All right. Yes, the governor just exercised his franchise right here in Eguma Primary School, ward of Owalero in Ika North East local government area of the Delta State. And of course, what has been on is that the voting has been going on smoothly all across the state. And of course here, voting started quite early. There have not been any hitches, no skirmishes of any kind in the state. And here that we are monitoring the election in this polling station where people are filing out to cast their vote. And we notice that there's quite a considerable large turnout of electorates to exercise their franchise here. And all around the state, we have been hearing of hitch-free poll going on everywhere. And mostly we have the governor actually saying that from what he has been seeing or hearing in other parts of the state, where we have election going on, there have not been any issue whatsoever, whether from the INEC aspect of the BVAS, the biomodal verification accreditation system. There have not been any issue of any kind, and of course there have not been any security threats in any part of the state. The election has been going on smoothly, and voters are coming out happily to cast their vote for their preferred candidates. And of course we know that there are three candidates to cast their vote for the presidency, the House of the National Assembly, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, and they are doing so in this Owalero, Ika Northeast local government area, and every other part of the state. Yuri.
Ikenna, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sure we'll be in touch with you again as the election progresses. Now, we're going to have to leave it here.
One interaction. But if you are hearing
a relay, and Veronica Danikwo, you will be taking over the anchor chair and with a fresh guest. Let me thank very much Professor Killer. Thank you very much, Professor Anthony Killer, for being with us in this particular session. Thank you very much, Prof. And so that's it. We'll, as I leave, let me tell you, the president is actually about to arrive. There you go. I think, there you go. We're able to get that. The president is just about arriving.
I told you he was avoiding me.
Where is the president? But that's what we're hearing. He's on his way there. But we can't leave while the president is arriving. I'll be telling Veronica about it, why I held on for another 1 or 2 minutes, because we're waiting on Mr. President, who has arrived. That's Daura Katsina. We want to see Mr. President arrive.
Keep this way. Femi, don't wear leg. How they do and how they don't. Hey, this guy don't block me. Ima. Femi, are they on us?
Okay, so now Mr. President has arrived, and it's beginning, as you can see. In fact, we're even getting news now that, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu might also, is also going to be shortly arriving at his polling unit. But here we are in Daura, Katsina, and that's Mr. President there. You could see the whole crowd, hailing the arrival of Mr. President. Sort of excited. And
he's allowing his wife to vote before him.
Yeah, okay. Yes. The president is doing that gentlemanly thing.
That gentlemanly thing. So doing the ladies first.
He's doing the ladies first thing. Yes. So we don't. Do you know that? Was that his wife? Was that Aisha?
Yes.
Okay.
I recognize Aisha. Yes.
Okay. So Mr. President will now follow. They did the biometrics.
Imply that he went to vote with another woman. Of course, it's his wife.
We took. The president can have more than one wife.
But fair enough, you won't go and go to more than one wife.
No. So, looking at what we have here, the president, again, just like Mrs. Tinubu when we saw her in Lagos, waiting patiently, there seems to be a limit to the big manism that can go on at
a polling station. Exactly. There's no big manism.
Yes.
You see, that is the joy of digitalization.
Yes.
There's no space for big manism. It has to follow the process.
They're doing his biometrics.
Good. Recognized.
His iris has been captured.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, that's Mr. and Mrs. Buhari there.
Yeah, there they are.
Mrs. Buhari going before Mr. Buhari.
Yes.
And
so got in his
one
papers.
operation.
Yes. And this is not his usual.
It shows it's important. Yeah,
yes.
It's not dressed casually.
It's not dressed casual for it.
So it's the importance that the president attaches to it. He's dressed quite formally, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, very formally. And he's actually a very designed one. I think he's happy to go. He's happy to vote.
He said he's not interested in staying a day more beyond his constitutional tenure.
I suspect he waited up to this time because he had to.
And then earlier in Lagos, we were seeing Mrs. Tinubu. We're seeing Mr. and Mrs. Buhari together here.
Yes.
We didn't see Mr. and Mrs. Tinubu together.
Let's see, but I suspect they vote in different polling stations.
Yes,
let's find out.
Yes. Everything will depend on where
the polling stations
registered.
Don't forget that Daura is a small place and not far from the port. Those who know Daura will know that this specific station is not too far from his residence. Where he goes. So
he probably walked
around
there.
Yes.
I don't know that Mrs. Tinubu was able to walk from her Bodlon residence all the way to Falomore, but she might have.
Well, she's done it before, so I won't be surprised.
She might have. Exactly. She might have. And then we expect after, it depends on the time situation, because Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is also expected to be voting today. We just saw the president voting there.
I think he's not excited. I'm sure he's going to vote today.
He will be voting.
He will. I think he has a bit of interest on who's on the ballot paper today for one of the positions. So
there's no doubt who he will be
voting for. So I think he would.
Also, the president. People might say there's no doubt, but you see, we don't know these things.
With the president, I'm not sure what this man is doing.
We don't know. We're just being technically correct.
Yes.
Now, everybody can say that they know.
Guess.
We know who Buhari is going to be voting for. But again, the technical point about it, say, how do you know? You're not in Buhari's mind.
Exactly.
But we saw him. We saw him at rallies. And we saw him,
He didn't dance, though.
Give us some sort of an indication. So, actually, I'm overstaying my time a bit, but that's because we're expecting Bola Ahmed Tinubu to also show up. Me and Tony, we've dragged ourselves look, we're eating into the next team's,
into their time.
But this is very important. The president, all the flashlights going there, the president about to cast his vote, and since we now have a sort of a procedure, when they finish doing what they're doing over there, he will now go and drop it in the appropriate boxes, who he wants for the senator.
It's called Malami Nkano.
Malami, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I wonder who they're carrying there.
Well, Mr. Zizi want to help us out here. I don't know what possibly could be happening here.
Chamberlain, the particular cameraman who took this picture was actually trying to give us the true definition of sea of heads. So if there's any interpretation of sea of heads, this is perhaps what we're talking about.
But interestingly too, at the end of the day, all these visuals and images we see, it comes down to what you count with the ballot. So these images may not be naturally true reflection.
But again, by the provision of the guidelines and the law, the electoral law, correct me if I'm wrong, no polling unit should have more than 1,500, isn't it?
No, actually, I think it's 750.
Yesterday,
there is a delineation.
Said, that delineation. So per PU, I think it's about 750.
It was initially 1,500. But it's now been cut down to 750. With those ads that I'm seeing right now, those are in almost thousands. So
first of all, we don't know how many polling units that there are in that location. Because in particular locations, there can be more than, as the last one you saw from Itama, the three. So there can be more than, we don't really know. That's why it's always good to get some background information.
And there are people who are under 8,400.
Yes, there may be some underage from what we see.
Unless they were not supposed to vote. But if they didn't come out to vote, if they came out just to be part of
should they be there if you don't have a
crowd of things happening? Maybe they accompany some people, but it's something to look out for.
All right, guys, this is the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Tinubu. This we understand is in Ikeja area of Lagos, around his polling unit. As you can see him there with his daughter on flanked on the right, and his wife, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, on his left. And of course, he's being guarded. I mean, you can imagine the kind of situation you saw there in Adamawa playing out in the Ikeja area of Lagos. This is a very popular area in Ikeja area. I can almost describe this area, know it very well. I've covered this particular area before. This is just in between. This is along Iyala Street, just beside ShopRite area of Ikeja, just a street before his polling unit. And usually, whenever Bola Tinubu goes there to vote, it's always a very, very tough scenario meandering through that process. Let's listen to some of the sounds that could come out from that area. So, and I can imagine the kind of security that will be in that area, just compared to what you saw, also similar rather to what you saw in Yola.
Yes, I'll raise it. Step up.
Let's step out.
Always, they didn't expect it. I can bet with you that politicians and supporters have been waiting here all day, just to this moment, to catch a sight of this man. This kind of a frenzy. And you can make a comparison. I have a feeling maybe the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, did not vote this time around in Jada. I get a feeling that he moved his polling unit to Yola. Not quite sure, but we need to find out from our correspondent who covered him there. Yeah, but there were also contemplation whether or not Bola Tinubu was also going to move to Bodilon, where his house is, or whether he's going to vote. But we know for sure that this is Ikeja, where he's voting, and pretty much, seeing our cameraman try to meander through the crowd. In fact, this is a world press coverage that usually happens in this kind of scenarios.
So the thing is, you cannot vote where your polling unit, where you're not registered.
Just a question you asked me, you see the NSDC officials, they are preventing some people from moving further. Now we're approaching the polling units. They're trying to prevent those, I don't know how to call them, hangers on security, and limit the number of people coming into the polling units with him, which is the right thing, really.
And then you have to also enforce that open secret system, such that you don't show.
Mr. Ozaze, yes, please. Again, this kind of scenarios, we've seen this in Yola, and we're seeing this in Lagos, and who knows where we'll see it again. And at what point in the course of amending our laws and implement, we don't have a dearth of laws. We have a dearth of implementation.
We need to amend our minds now.
At what point do we get to where we'll see this kind of the guidelines and the laws being pushed into effect, so to speak? At what point do you think that will happen?
I think the bigger question is, as you have already acknowledged that, as it were, there are enough laws, there are enough regulations, and your images also come from abroad, where you see prime ministers going to vote or presidents going to vote, and it's just a simple, straightforward exercise. I think Ezenwa has already nailed it in a good way, in an eloquent way.
Okay, so see this now. I'm sure he's even having a challenge getting to where he would even begin to the process of voting himself. See the crowd.
Absolutely, but look at the crowd. Look at the composition of that crowd. You have the media, and the ones on the forefront are the media.
Would be
the security.
He's expecting that the media will be there,
and it's also expected that security people will be there.
Okay,
and others, as Shehu has already said, there are lots of people who are seeing him for the first time in years.
They've moved these polling units forward. This polling unit is now almost half a kilometer away from where it used to be. Now, this is at the tail end of the street. Anybody who is very familiar with this area, this is in front of the Place Restaurant, just opposite ShopRite in the Ikeja area. And the polling unit where he voted the last time was down the street, just half a kilometer to this very place.
It may be a new unit. It may be a new unit. Not forget 56,000.
Some people got notification too that their unit had been split and then moved to a similar location.
Yes.
So this probably might be one of those scenarios where, if someone is saying, asking me, are you sure it's not fake news? But thankfully, Mr. Okoye was here that morning.
Well,
so
skeptical.
He says, well, yes. I got a text myself because I'm a registered voter too. So
when was the last time you voted, Chamberlain? I mean,
that's another story for another time.
so that you not be trying for derivation of your civic duty. Now, the thing here is, so now we are back to the initial picture that we saw in Yola.
Correct.
It's almost an impossible task of getting this crowd off the faces of these guys.
Isn't he going to be worried that they will show his ballot paper?
Well, so that's exactly
they probably will happy to do that, actually.
Oh, well,
where you go.
No, it's our first sense of entitlement, our big man syndrome. Yesterday, we were going to INEC offices, and we got to some places, and just because of how we appeared in the place, the security men opened the gates, and we just went in, and I was shocked. I said, there was no question of wind down. Who are you? What are you going to? Until we got to the third place, where the security men knew their job, and they came out and said, hey, please wind down. What do you want? Who are you? We introduced ourselves, and they let us go. And I came down and I went to meet them. I said, this is what it should be. So the first challenge we have is that we have a ritual of voter education. I call it ritual of voter education, and not civic education. So after this election, nobody talks about how people should behave. So the curriculum of the child who is already in school should be talking about, if you are 18, you now need to vote. This is the way you should vote. This is how you should vote.
And you know, we had consequences of this now, because remember the bombing for the police headquarters not long ago?
Yes.
It was a brand new car, followed the IGP's convoy, they threw the floodgates open, and then bang, that went on. Go ahead. Yeah, you wanted to make
I don't think the candidates start trying to push back and demonstrating that people should give him some space, and that's the proper thing to do.
I have each time I have a certain kit that I use for every voting. I don't wear them every day. I've had to change my election duty shoes almost at every election. So in this kind of scenario, people will step on your leg. It's almost an impossible task. And sometimes I just pity some of these guys, because, I mean, if you're not there, you cannot understand. You cannot disperse them. It's almost difficult to do that. A lot of the times, 3 police officers placed in these polling units cannot do the job. And it's just, I mean, it's unbelievable sometimes the kind of things that you see. Look at the voting cubicle. It has been collapsed. Look at it.
It has collapsed.
It's pretty much collapsed. This is in fact looking worse than what we saw in Yola.
And don't forget, INEC officials too, they are also part of those who we should also think about how the kind of challenges, the ad hoc officials, what they go through. And I think these are similar cases where I think INEC usually has this talk amongst the members of staff or ad hoc staff saying, listen, when you find yourself in certain kind of scenarios, they usually advise them in terms of how, because first of all, their safety is paramount. They need to be safe first and foremost. But I mean, we all know, so there you go. They know that this is a scenario that shouldn't be. That's why they're trying to cover what he's trying to thumbprint to enforce that open secret ballots. But look at the pictures there. They just won't let off.
I mean, I just really remember what the Bible says about getting into heaven. It's like this is not the eye of the needle. This is like the nosary of a needle, because I think it's tighter than the eye, and it's almost impossible because
Hallelujah, Bishop.
So. All right, we understand now that the presidential candidate of the Labour Party is already also out just about the same time. I mean, pretty much around this time is when you find lots the presidential candidate, because they usually give about an hour and a half or 2 hours for people to get out. get the right crowd out there that will engage them. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, we understand, is getting out now because we went there at his polling unit to give you live pictures of what was going on. I guess in another few moments we'll be able to go live to Ogulu in Aniocha local government area. Agulu, right? Yeah, I mean, there's Ogudu in Lagos. I've lived too much in Lagos, so maybe. So Agulu in Aniocha local government area of Anambra State, where the Labour Party candidate will be casting his ballot. But some other reports coming, some part of Lekki, the reports saying that there's still no sight of polling officials yet. Some part of Yaya Abato in Ogba area of Lagos also, no sight of polling officials as at this time. Some part of Gwarimpa also, there are those who are reporting that there are no sign of polling officials.
Also, a bit of some news in Lagos, for instance, there are reports of skirmishes here.
Where is INEC? Here to come to Arekpo in Ogun State, Obafemi Owode. It's 5 minutes after 9. They are here to come here. Everybody's waiting here quietly for INEC. Thank you. Good morning. Then Adifai report. Where is INEC? Here to come to Arekpo in Ogun State, Obafemi Owode. It's 5 minutes after 9. They are here to come here. Everybody's waiting here quietly for INEC.
Thank you. Good morning. Gbenga Adefayo, report.
Didn't get the whole thing right. Because surely you know the press, the eyes of the world is going to be on you.
Yes.
This is what I said about 7 years ago when the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, could not vote.
Yeah, the candidate
Yes.
of the APC has his forms there, has his ballot papers
Yes, they're
there.
trying to install the voting cabin. The mobile thing is crashed.
I think now that it's thumb-printed,
Yes.
it's about putting it in the right boxes.
Yes.
That whole shield, that half shield sort of a thing, was just a
Did
bit
not
of
stop.
privacy.
Are we sure he's thumb-printed at all? I don't think he has. I think that's what they want to create for him to do it.
Let's see. But the important thing, as you just said, is that all eyes will be on you.
All eyes will be on you. So if you're in
I
charge
don't
of
know
that
what
politician,
what INEC
they
was
should have
thinking.
done an extra thing. It's not the first time this has happened in other elections. So this is not the fault of INEC generally. These are individuals in their substations
who are in
not
charge and
taking
needed to
extra
have
preparation.
planned in a particular
Yeah.
Shouldn't allow people to be moving up and down. Instruction is no vehicular movement except for authorized personnel. Is that clear?
Just go.
Shouldn't allow people to be moving up and down. Instruction is no vehicular movement except for authorized personnel. Is that clear?
Just go.
The lighting has adjusted in there.
Yes.
So it's how it's more. There are people there from all over the country.
Yes,
That much I
indeed.
can assure
Actually,
you.
across
It's
the
not
world,
just from
because I see
Ikeja.
some of the observers
Exactly.
there.
It's not just from Ikeja area.
Yes,
there are
that's-
people there from all over the country.
I've come to
such
stay
is the
with him,
nature of this particular candidate, so we can understand that. As soon as he's through with all of that, he'll say a few words. Mr. President said a few words. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar said a few words. So there's no how Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Asiwaju Tinubu will not be saying a few words, both to the crowd there and also to those at home. Where are we now in terms of?
I think
where's the time? Where he needs the space for those 3 boxes for us to see him put it in those 3 boxes. But you can see how he's being crowded by cameras and well-wishers and assistants, supporters, everybody. Everybody just wants to be in the picture that Tinubu is making by casting his vote in the 2023 presidential election. Bola Tinubu casts his vote. I think,
he's done.
He's done. He's done.
I was trying to get space out.
Now he needs space. They're going to take that thing away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's moving out of the canopy.
So he has to put it in the boxes, and then he has to say a few words to us. That much is all right, because we're going to be quoting that. Well, we've heard it from everybody else, and then we've heard it from everybody else.
You keep saying it's your right to listen, forgetting that it is right not to say a word.
No. He's not allowed to not say a word. He's not allowed to.
This is the kind of responsibility.
Look at the crowd.
So what? You can just go away.
Eh?
Sometimes silence is a better strategy in communication. He doesn't have to speak, honestly.
Okay.
He could just wave and go away, and that is it. Let others speak.
Okay, if you say so.
But no, I'm not saying he's going to do that.
No, because
he could do that.
If you were to bet
You're
it,
just not
you'd
happy.
lose money. You'd lose
You're
money.
just not happy. You want him to speak. That's the truth of the matter.
No.
And you're churning over this thing.
If you were to bet so, you'd be losing money because he's going to say something. In fact, that's the reason we're waiting here. That let's see him vote. And then let's see.
There's no Labour Party on this. There's no Labour Party on this one too. Does that make it void? There's no Labour Party on this one. There's no Labour Party on that one too. Okay. So there are no Labour Party and logos on most of these ballot papers. Why? This is for the senatorial. Check for the presidential, please. There's no Labour Party on the senatorial here in Lagos State. What polling unit is this?
Why there is no Labour Party here?
There is no party for the no Labour Party for the senatorial. Please, this is on record, please. So check another one, please. Why don't we have Labour Party on some of the tags here in Lagos State? Is there Labour Party on this one? There is no Labour Party on this. There is no Labour Party on this one too. Does that make it void? There is no Labour Party on this one. There is no Labour Party on that one too. Okay. So there are no Labour Party and logos on most of these ballot papers. Why? This is for the senatorial. Check for the presidential, please. There's no Labour Party on the senatorial here in Lagos State. What polling unit is this?
Why there is no Labour Party here?
There's no party for the president.
Okay, I think yes, he himself looked like an aide, but you see how they just dragged him up. I think they're trying to find a place where Tinubu will get a chance to just say a few words. I don't know, but he's clearly on the way out. He's clearly no. As you said, I'll
but you hope so.
I'll concede to you. He doesn't need to.
I'm conceding to you too.
Look, you said that he could just go away and say, "I'm not saying anything." Indeed, he could, but he's on the way out.
Yes.
As soon as the pictures are stable, I'm sure we'll see
we'll
that.
See where he was.
We just want to tidy things up. Tinubu arrived in our presence. He should be living in our presence too. Yeah, you can.
Now he's going to speak. Especially dedicated to you, Kola, in this case.
Come on. I'm not saying anything. I'm not encouraging you, Tony. I'm not saying anything. Okay.
dear.
As soon as the picture settles there, we'll be able to hear from them, and that will probably sort of wrap up this segment of the program. But the Decision 2023 studio is open, has been open from 6 o'clock, and will be open right through till tomorrow, if necessary. Probably will be necessary. INEC has said that it's going to be it'll be very timely in the way it puts out the results. That might be any time tomorrow. I don't think we can expect today. No, that's not going to happen. No, but tomorrow, worst case, the best case scenario probably is that,
early.
Maybe late morning. Tomorrow, yeah. Either early or late morning, but tomorrow. Because
late tomorrow night.
Because the chairman of INEC has said that it's going to be better than the previous time. And the previous time, the last general election we had, it took over 2 days.
Yes.
But now it's probably going to take under 2 days. Maybe just today and then tomorrow. That at least is just that the president...
And free people from their tension.
Free them from all this anxiety. But as the chairman of INEC said, I'm not able to pinpoint exactly how many hours or anything like that, but
We are confident we shall deliver Nigeria. What do you see since the beginning of the rally?
the audio stream didn't quite work the way we had wanted it to. But no doubt you will be getting that audio later on. And there are those who were recording that audio live at the venue, so you'll be hearing about it. But the important thing is that we did see Bola Ahmed Tinubu cast his vote, and before then we had seen his wife do the same. And we'd also seen a number of...
Election cycle of 5, he was on the ballot. 5 election cycles, he was on the ballot. Perhaps this is going to be the lightest of the ballot paper that this president has come printed. The other ballot papers would have been so heavy because they would have come with trepidation. Some would have come with a lot of burden. Some would have come with a lot of... This is the man who said that he can't wait to get out of office. So even the smiles on his face tells me something that...
Look, say, finally,
the first lady I'm tumbling myself out of office. So,
the first lady too.
The first lady there also. And who is also being very vocal about things that she sees and experienced in the state
on the left. Are they supposed to let people see that ballot paper on the left?
I said
we're going to talk about folding the ballot paper.
Absolutely.
How you have to ensure that you hold it.
Yesterday night we were trying to try that out. And, Mr. Osazouzi here is the expert. He's one of those who have made the rules over the years. And he perhaps can, Itodo was telling us yesterday that this is perhaps the best way to fold the ballot paper. so that it does. If you fold it this way, there's a tendency that it smears into the other box. But if you fold it this way, for those of you who are still at home or you're watching us on your mobile device and you're at the polling unit, the ballot paper.
What about something like?
No, don't do that, Chamberlain, because
if it really light like this, does it work?
You're getting funky about it.
You will not get into.
Why are you getting it complicated though?
Trying to try different things, you know.
So the advice is fold it this way, that way.
So if you do this, it slips right into the box because that space you have there is really slim.
Exactly.
It has to go nice.
So you fold it and nicely you drop it in.
But if you think it's too long,
let me take a walk. Let's walk.
We were told.
I went to the going to the place, but I want to walk there. So I just take here and walk. If it's where I look at, let me take a morning walk to my
So we're still live here. Peter Obi is taking the walk.
I'm not going to vote. I'm going to visit my people in my village. You know. If you want to know about my life, I can tell you about this village. So you can see. So at least you see my mother's where I live. And that's it. So all I'm doing now is going around in my village. Don't worry, when the time comes now, you have everything. This is the
News Central.
News Channel.
We have that later.
Yes, which of us are you? Which of us are you? Oh no, you're Catholic, okay. Are you?
Egypt, sir.
I was in Cairo.
Yeah?
I was in Cairo recently to see what people did. People work in power.
Yeah.
Which media house are you?
Associated Press.
Come, let's work as family.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live
When did I go? I was in Egypt recently. I went to study one. They did a lot of work in power.
He's talking to you. Yeah.
They did a lot of work in power area.
Power area.
You know, electricity.
Yeah. We're building a new city.
No, it's fantastic. I want to see the
If you become president, you plan on building. How do you plan on dealing with the power situation in Nigeria?
See the clear one.
Great.
You must work. Because you doubled yours.
Yes.
In 3 years. So I went to visit all the power stations, went to visit the two companies, Siemens and where is the Egyptian company? Where I was there for 4 days with the African Exim Bank. You know.
What are the experiments from the region are you hoping to be inspired by to fix Nigeria's problems?
They'll see it.
Yeah?
Not even the people. They'll feel it.
Yeah?
Governments are people feeling it and being impressive.
Thank you, sir.
People have come when I closed my campaign on Friday. I see me in the market. No, not come. I campaign in the market. That's how you know whether the people want you or not. Watch your back. So, station here. Watch your back. Watch station here so I can go and do other things and come back.
So, do you do this every morning when you're here?
When I'm here?
Yes.
I go to the village. I go to greet people.
Yes.
It's my village. And I feel like every other person in the village. Everybody here is equal. There's no great person in this village. because God created us to be like that. So when I'm in this village, nobody, except that we have a chairman who is chairman of the village. He's not there. I wish he's around. And everybody respects him. I have a traditional ruler. If you were here yesterday, I was there. I have to go and kneel down for him because he's our traditional ruler. I have to respect him. That's our lifestyle. So that's what I do. I do it every day. Just like you are. You're my sister. Thank you. As I told you, see my brother. I said these are my village people. Tell me and then this village, there's no big man, there's no small man. Everybody's equal. We look like a family. Not where people say, I'm too much. Do we do this? No. I'm not quarreling with anybody in this village.
So, part of the Babal tour of Agolo, tell us what are the nuances of Agolo town, about the Agolo, just be the village man that you are.
We love each other here.
Okay.
I love everybody here. Just like I love humanity. I show compassion to humanity. Humanity is not that discriminating or feeling special. Whatever we have, like I told them yesterday. I told them yesterday, whatever we have is by His grace. It's not by our power. He is the one who grants us the grace. So we must live for that grace. So we don't abuse it. That's why if I have opportunity to serve, I serve the people and not steal their money because it's by His grace. It wasn't by my power. The reason why people are here and are looking at me by His grace. Yeah. If He takes it away, you won't be here. You know.
So, what will be the very first thing you do?
So the cash that you have found, are they the old notes or the new notes? I don't know which is more profitable right now for anyone.
Well, it's a new note that we were able to seize yesterday.
So
day before yesterday.
How many arrests have you made, and to what tune of amount do you have now as the latest?
Well, I don't have the number as at now. As I said, our men are all over the place. Our situation room downstairs is, doing all of that. But I think one of the things that we did yesterday in Kaduna, I think distinguished itself because we arrested a lady with about 18 voters card that she claimed to have already bought. She is waiting for the people to ensure that they are at the polling unit this morning to ensure that they voted for the candidate that she, secured the votes for. And a lot of things, of course, is coming out of the lady that we arrested in Kaduna and several other, covert operations that we did yesterday that is giving us intelligence on what we expect today, this morning on the field.
Mr. Barr, it's good that you and your team are out there monitoring the elections and effecting the arrests that you're effecting. And you mentioned the interception of over 30 million naira in new notes, you said. But then the question that we've asked in the studio here is, from the primaries, you were there monitoring the primaries, both in Abuja and around the country. Were there any arrests made from those primaries? Were there any prosecutions
Jonathan will be casting his ballot. Now, there are 8 local government areas in Bayelsa. But this is where we are. We understand also in Sampo, that is in Kolokuma-Pokma local government area, the governor, Senator Doye Diri, will be casting his ballot. In Okpoma, that is in Brass local government area, the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Chief Timothy Silva, will perform his civic duties. Okay, going to Bayelsa West, precisely Tororua, Senator Henry Seriake Dixon, who is also a candidate and also former governor of this state, will be doing the same thing. So all around Bayelsa, I would say something. The materials have been arriving quite late. I could monitor a few minutes ago the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, that is for the presidential election, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, cast his ballot. But that is in Lagos. Elsewhere, in Adamawa, Atiku, but in Bayelsa, it has been the norm for the past 16 years. If you can go down memory lane, in 2015, we spent hours here. Then the machines were malfunctioning when Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan cast his ballot. It hasn't changed. Usually, Bayelsa, the materials arrive late. That is the situation, Steve Ayorinde.
All right, thank you, Vieteme. We'll still be back to you at some point later. But back here in the studio, Dr. Deji, 8 years ago, just like Vieteme said, there were issues with card reader with the sitting president at that time. But, fast forward to 8 years after, we're now talking beavers. Dr. Deji, how do you think that this has changed things and expectations of people in terms of INEC getting it right this time around?
I think the expectation of people has changed with the introduction of the technology system, the beaver system. So the change in technology has given people hope that now we will have a change from the norm whereby most of our systems are not technology-based. So people kind of have trust in the system, most especially the election of Ekiti and Osun, though there's a bit of shaky trust on the part of the people because of the judgment recently given as regards the Osun State election. But people still have that confidence in the beaver system that if it is properly used, if it is properly manned, that it will be an improvement from the past process that we've had.
Achike, Ruth, go on. Yes, please.
Can ask questions, so I hope you know that.
Absolutely. you lead the charge. All right.
Actually, earlier on, we were saying that a lot of people that actually register does not reflect on those that actually vote. That there's a certain percentage of people that come out instead of the full amount of people that actually voted. Do you think how much difference do you think that will make this time around?
Yes, I've been voting here since 2011. So what time did you get here, sir? 8:30. And what are the challenges that the INEC officials say can do? And their materials are not complete. What is this? They say voting in. I swear, they came without voting. There's no ink to vote. There's no ink to vote. Yes. You are a voter in this place. Yes, I've been voting here since 2011. So what time did you get here, sir? 8:30. And what are the challenges that the INEC officials say can do? And their materials are not complete. What is this? They say voting in. I swear, they came without voting. There's no ink to vote. There's no ink to vote. There's no ink to vote.
Of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, casting his vote. He is thronged by his supporters, one would say, who are watching him as he casts his ballot. Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje casting his ballot there. We have our correspondent Tolulope Ogunjobi in Calabar, Cross River State, to bring us up to speed. Tolu, quickly tell us how it's going with regards to accreditation as well as votes being cast thus far.
All right, yes, Veronica. Well, around Calabar metropolis here, voting started around about between 8:30 to 9 and past 9 in some cases. By the time we stepped out at past 7, there were most of the polling units, there were no activities there at all. But we saw voters already on the ground, ready to exercise their franchise, putting up things for the polling officers and the supervisory polling officers, and of course all others that will take part in this process to have a conducive environment. So we saw that on our way, but after visiting like 3-4 polling units, we got to the 5th one where full activity actually started at about 7 minutes past 9 a.m. And it's been like that as I speak with you. You can see pictures around me, more than 4 units around this area where it's the hall, Unit Golf 3 field, Unit 15, Ward 8. And there are lots of units here, about 3 of them, and everything is going on orderly here. Accreditation and voting is going on simultaneously, and there's been no hitch. The BVAS machine also being used here. As what I've seen, there's been no issues with it at all. Once you check your names on the list, your name is there, you go to the actual line you're supposed to be on. And once you get there, they check your facial, take your once they get a confirmation on the Beavers machine, and you just go ahead and get the ballot paper and you cast your ballot. So it's been seamless here. Security presence is also commendable. As of yesterday, more than 6,500 policemen were deployed across the 18 local governments in Cross River State. We have 3,281 units across this state where voting is taking place as I speak with you, Veronica.
Right. I'm looking at the line and I'm wondering if the people are adhering to the provisions of the Electoral Act that states that the men and the women will have separate lines.
Well, that is not happening here. Clearly, the men and the women are actually on the same on the same line. I think on this side we have men and women both on the same side. They're just on the same line. You can see beside me. You see men and women. They are on the same line. So that is not happening here. But there's a little bit of gap, and everyone is taking this time one after the other to get accredited and get to cast the ballot. The process is indeed seamless. And I must say that at the moment, with what we can report, and we've not heard reports of violence from anywhere. Everyone is going about this as peaceful as they can. But there's this, is it that we note across the board, everyone.
Right. Reporter Tolulope Ogunjobi speaking with us from Cross River State. Tolu, are you still there?
Around this process.
Polling unit and sharing it. Could that amount to inducement?
Well, this is English. Inducement can come in cash and in kind, but as I said earlier on during this program, I told you that we have seen some incidences since yesterday night where, some people are busy distributing items, in kind, which we know that, of course, is to influence the votes. And one of the legal advice that we have in that regard is that, look, you can't just preempt. You have to wait until the action is done, or when you have a link in that regard and in that space. So it's a very tall one. It's a very complicated thing for somebody to be seen that he collected a plate of rice and he's going to vote for a candidate that the person that gave him the plate of rice wants him to vote for. But we are more concerned about cash, because it is easier for us to deal with that and link it up with the provisions of our laws. But then, of course, in that instance, is for us to sit back and maybe probably ask our lawyers on what to do. They have given us advice in that regard, and we're working towards that. But it's going to be very, very difficult to.
We'll get some comments from your statement. I know Naira note is one of the scarcest commodities you can think of in the country at the moment. But before I get some comments here. There are reports of some politicians who are busted by your men in Lagos. Was there any arrest made? What is the update? Are you aware of it?
Seun, let me be immodest a bit here. Since when I came on board, we tried to, as much as possible, not to discuss cases that are still under investigation, except for cases that are already in court. So all I can tell you is that we are investigating. We said it out there yesterday strategically, just to send some message and all of that. But we are investigating, and at the right time, Nigerians will get to know about it. But what I can tell you is that arrests were made and recoveries also were made.
It was a bust based on intel, isn't it?
An ongoing investigation is still there that we are doing, Sean.
I know no matter how much I try, Mr. Bauer, you're a very good friend, but then you could be slippery with your answers sometimes. But I know there is an investigation, but was it a bust?
Investigation is, I think what matters, Seun, is the fact that I have already confirmed to you that investigation is on. And at the right time, we'll get to know the outcome of this thing. I think that is what matters. Look, there are several ways in which, EFCC can cause an investigation. You can write a complaint. You can get it via intelligence, whether anonymously or somebody has written his name, whatever it is, and the EFCC has the powers to cause an investigation, when somebody has acted contrary to the provisions of the Act. But when somebody's lifestyle is, not commensurate with his sources of income, we can cause an investigation without complaint. So it's immaterial, Shewun, whether, I don't know how you call it, whether it was a boss, whether it was this, investigation is on, whether it is by complaint, whether it is by boss, whether it is by intelligence, whether it is the EFCC that caused it. I think the most important thing that is the fact that we have seen that the laws of the country have been crossed and we have commenced an investigation.
Let's get some commentaries there.
Mr. Barr, thank you so much for sharing this day with us. And we do hope that your men in the field would do that which you've sent them out and mandated them to do, as you said, between the mandate of prevention and the mandate of arrest. Hopefully, it will prevent a lot of crimes from being committed out there. But we'll look forward to seeing prosecutions and seeing those who have contravened the laws being punished eventually, especially also, as one of our guests here said, on your website. That information should be out there for others to see. Thank you so much, Mr. Barr.
Thank you very much. Everybody can have his own opinion, but I think we should be trusted on our judgment here as the leaders of this place, looking at all the information that we have, and that is where we are arriving at decisions that we are seeing out there eventually. So hopefully we'll have a nice day today, and we'll elect leaders at the end of the day.
Well, we'll look forward to that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just to let our viewers know that we're still hoping to hear from other presidential candidates, and we'll bring you footage of them voting in their various locations. We told you earlier, we went to Anambra State, we heard from our correspondent, and what is happening there. The presidential candidate came around and then moved on, but he will be coming back. That's what our reporter did give. But we also told you earlier in the day that you can also send us information, footage of yourself, pictures, videos of yourself in your polling unit casting after you've casted your vote. Of course, you cannot send us footage of you casting your vote and all of that. So send that into our social media platforms and our emails as well. But at this time, we would take a moment and we will be back.
And some supporters. He also expressed confidence in the process and asked citizens to come out en masse and vote. Nigeria Senator Oluremi Tinubu has also commended the process after she cast her ballot, but raised concern over the inability of the beavers to capture her fingerprint.
I think for what happened was they have two options. They couldn't capture my fingerprint, but they were able to capture my picture, which is, they said they have those two options. If not, the process is fine. It's fine so far. When they started that, and it's just within a minute, I'm done. So I think it's all right.
All right, we turn our attention to Kaduna, where INEC ad hoc staff are yet to arrive most polling units in Kaduna metropolis, as at the time of this report. Sarah Ayeku is at Ungwansarki, Kaduna North, to give us an update.
Kaduna, Northwest Nigeria, we're expecting to see about 4.1 million voters add their voices to the 87 million voters waiting to elect the next president of Nigeria. In Kaduna State, there are 255 registration areas and about 8,012 polling units. in Ungwan Seriki, Kaduna North local government area of the state, as at 8:20 we're yet to see INEC officials and security operatives at any of the polling units. Also, we understand that in Barnawa, in some other parts of the state, security operatives are yet to arrive at these polling units, while voters are waiting patiently for INEC ad hoc staff.
This is my voter's card. I came as early as 20 minutes past 6 to cast my vote. Really, this is one of the polling units that has a large number of voters. But compared to what I've seen in 2019 and today, really the turnout is not massive as I expected.
On the part of the voters or for security operatives for INEC ad hoc staff?
Well, I expect that people will come out the way we came out. That's more reason why I came out very early. I came out very early because in 2019...
One of the polling units that are a bit organized, the people already are doing, having numbers on cards to enable voters get their numbers before INEC officials get to the polling unit. So this process makes it easier for INEC officials and for the voters to cast their ballot when election starts. One of the voters at the polling unit, of course, she's a voter and she's also doing business here. Aisha tells me that she's at this polling unit, which is the same polling unit of Governor Nasir El-Rufai. Expect INEC officials to be here as soon as possible. This is 8:30 already, and INEC ad hoc staff are yet to be at the polling units.
All right, we have our correspondent in Sokoto's Celestina area to bring us up to speed with developments there. Celestina, quickly talk to us. How is it going with regards to accreditation and voting?
Okay, Veronica. Yes, to have one of the government and this is like the number of voters are presented in the device, different from that and the ballot paper. Also, we are expecting the governors to be here any moment to also cast ballots. In Sambor local government, we have over 389 population. And this polling unit is also served as a rack station. All got here, distribution of materials was ongoing. So now, people are trying to cast the ballot, but still waiting for the process to commence.
How enthusiastic are the people with regards to this voting?
Well, they've been waiting eagerly for the men and I think the elderly voters when voting that still going to contribute ICTC, that's all safety, and then.
All right, we'll definitely get back to Celestina area for more updates from Sokoto. Now, moving on, earlier, security agencies were seen enforcing the restriction order in some parts of Niger State. Our correspondent, Chenemi Bami, brought us the situation report.
Right here in Kotungra local government area of Niger State, movements are skeletal on the road and police officers have begun to enforce the no movement restrictions on the road by seizing bikes from commuters. Here at the INEC office, they say sensitive and non-sensitive materials have been successfully moved to the registration area centers. There are 248 polling units in this local government, 32 wards, and 132,295 registered voters are expected to vote today.
Yesterday, we started the movement of our materials, both the sensitive materials and the non-sensitive materials, and our personnel to the various rack centers, whereby they will
It's for them to be peaceful. Go and do your vote and let everybody, be happy.
I mean, everybody have, to decide. Or people have to decide who they want. So the election is supposed to be peaceful. You are performing your civic duty. You have the power to choose who you want. Go and do it and be peaceful. And that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's for them to be peaceful. Go and do your vote and let everybody, be happy. I mean, everybody have, to decide. Or people have to decide who they want. So the election is supposed to be peaceful. You are performing your civic duty. You have the power to choose who you want. Go and do it and be peaceful. And that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hover around me.
We're yet to see him get
and then you are not seeing him voting at the same time with his wife. He did his own separately.
They've not gone. We haven't gotten to the point where.
And that's Madam.
Where.
That's Mrs. Oshibajo, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're just, they're just.
They're doing the accreditation
So let's watch.
Yes.
Okay, that should be
Oh, that's
the
a
INEC
poll
officer
officials. Yeah.
talking to him.
Exactly.
Maybe he's telling him, please, sir, you have to.
Which is what should have happened in Daura.
Yes, that's like I was saying. Yes, you can see now
I told you that they are not going to be. This one is a solemn responsibility. Husband and wife doing it separately because for the purposes of this exercise, they are different individuals.
Yes.
Now take a look at what the presiding officer is doing. I believe I just saw her fold the ballot paper vertically inward and keep.
She's showing the whole process.
Yeah.
That's the signing of the ballot paper by the presiding officer.
Signing and folding it vertically.
You have to sign and stamp.
And stamp,
before you give it to the voter.
Yes.
That's the secrecy aspect of the entire exercise.
No. This is not the secret.
This is the open part of the entire exercise.
You have to sign and stamp and tear and then give to the
so
voter.
that nobody comes behind with a ballot paper.
To drop something that is
not signed, really.
Or
okay. And that is where you start having issues.
Look at the folding.
When things that are not, ballot papers that are not signed get underway.
So the vice president's wife has voted. That's what it means. So
exactly. Now the vice president is going to do his own thing.
And is it possible in situations like this for the two married couples to vote differently, different parties?
You also have another police officer there telling them how it works.
Yeah.
And then you saw a senior person there telling people not to go near them.
Yeah, and you can see how they look at the space. You can see the secrecy.
Exactly.
You can see the vice president's wife.
In a place where everybody can see it, standing alone.
Yes.
No unnecessary crowd milling around it. This is a sample of how
election
should hold. And this is a sample of what INEC has in mind.
Yeah, this is exactly what
we recommend. We recommend this to every other polling unit.
This is what INEC has in mind.
You have said already. We are going to interview the vice president now.
No campaigning,
no chairs, no chance.
Okay, it's speaking now.
The polling booth.
Okay, let's hear
my own polling booth, the Ogunrege polling booth. It is very peaceful. It's been conducted, in my view, very well, very professionally. I think that everything has been done right. And I hope that this is the same all across Ogun State and all across Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well,
okay.
he has...
Hang on, please.
Okay.
I will come back to you.
violence or in terms of disorderly conduct, people waited patiently,
There have been few here and there reported.
Not major incidents to warrant any disruption of the process so far. But people are waiting patiently, and Nigerians seems to be ready to exercise their franchise, no matter the delay.
Right. Jide, let me get your perspective to how the conduct has gone thus far.
Yes, some of the usual problems, delivering of ballot materials to polling centers in good time. This problem has always been with us, and I am not surprised that this year we've had this problem.
Do you think the cash crunch contributed?
I think it has to do with planning. INEC has never really been able to deliver logistics in good enough time across the country. In some places, materials will get to the polling centers very early. In Kano Metropolis, for example, today, some friends called me excitedly to say, look, we are already set for voting. As early as 7:30, they were ready. But in some places, including some communities in Niger State, materials didn't get there on time. Niger is the biggest state in Nigeria by landmass, more than 10,000 square kilometers, with size far bigger than some states. So I mean, Bogu local government, I'm reporting about Bogu, not Niger as a whole. Bogu local government is the biggest local government in our country, at more than 10,000 square kilometers. So the challenge will be there, because these materials are usually moved by road. I've also seen pictures of civil defense men involved in an accident, while taking ballot materials to a location. Some of them died, and you saw the ballot materials thrown across the road.
Yeah.
So this problem has always been there. I would expect, for example, that we use vehicles that have thick armor, for example, to move some of these ballot materials instead of just light-skinned vehicles that can be easily damaged when there's an accident and you lose some of the ballot materials. So this issue of not getting materials to to polling stations in good time has been there for so long. And it's unfortunate that this is one major problem that we've not been able to solve. I think that a time should come when INEC should be able to not rely so much on road transport workers to get ballot materials to all parts of our country. Now that the issue, the cash crunch, is there, is impacted on this election in so many ways.
Absolutely.
I won't be surprised if it's also one of the reasons we have this problem, because these guys have to be paid. The INEC chairman said, look, we don't pay them through transfer, we pay them cash, before they move. I don't expect that that will change. These guys will insist on being paid before moving.
In fact, we had a report from one of our correspondents saying that the drivers were saying that they were not moving. We do not know if to deliver the materials, we do not know if the matter of being paid was actually
paid enough.
Was the reason why they were not able to move. And recall that even before now, the INEC chair had always been talking about going to meet the CBN governor to say that we need cash, we need cash. And at some point, the CBN governor said that it will be provided. But INEC being INEC, they would have planned. And so the cash crunch might be a factor, don't you think?
No, certainly the cash crunch is a major factor in terms of planning. and it has certainly impacted on INEC's planning. Money was provided very late, to INEC in a way that, according to some reports, as late as Thursday, just 2 days ago, and INEC has to get these funds, to the appropriate people. And without getting the money, not until people get paid, they're not going to put their vehicles on the road, to move those materials. And one other problem is INEC centralized the planning in Abuja. That's the distribution point. In my view, that shouldn't have been the case, because we could easily call on the Nigerian Air Force, to use the helicopters, the choppers and the Nigerian Air Force jets, to move materials to the nearest point. For instance, to distribute in Southwest, you can use 3 major points, which is Lagos, Ibadan, and Akure. You will be able to effectively, distribute Southwest in good time, given the problem of cash crunch. But moving those materials to those places will not just solve the problem. The drivers to move them to the interlands, to the inner areas, is very crucial. They need to know that they will be engaged. They need to know they will be paid. And INEC getting the funds late has not helped at all.
All right, those are live pictures from Kano State, and our correspondent Emmanuel Akindubua is ready to bring us up to speed. Emmanuel, what's the situation in Kano?
From Idol.
All right, we'll move away from Kano. We'll move now to our correspondent, Lupe Assam, who will be bringing us up to speed with what is happening in Zaria.
He has chosen not to go and vote.
That's right.
Unlike the others. So naturally, the fact that he's even within that vicinity, everybody's on their best behavior.
We also have to be sure. We also have to be sure that
just to boost the security of the candidate. No, he can't adopt the same system, because these ones went to vote. They went there themselves to go and register. Peter has just gone and sat with the crowd instead. Is that not what he has just done?
What he has done is to leave out the privilege,
exactly,
and follow the process.
Yeah, exactly. So that is why it's very calm.
And even if the privilege, special privilege, was extended to Asiwaju and Atiku Abubakar, I don't think it's wrong.
There's nothing wrong.
It's not wrong.
Exactly.
Yes.
But this has always been Peter's selling point. These are part of the people.
Well, that's a style and personality.
That's always been his selling point.
But he's now
humility and
he has now stood up to obviously to go and.
Yeah, but you can see he's moving from seat
to
seat.
He's not standing up. He's moving turn by turn. Oh, I see.
Even this act alone could still win him a few votes.
Of course. We are the ones watching him on TV. Others can't see.
That's true.
But in any case, this is his top. This is his own.
It has always been his selling point. I'm going to be different from the others.
Well, I mean, you seem to like that style, don't you?
I like it, but what I'm saying is that he's even taking it to the polling booth.
The polling booth.
Instead of me to show that I'm bigger or I'm the star of the show, I'm going to sit with my people.
Yeah, that's
I mean, none of the other three have done that.
No, we've only seen.
But then again, I'm wondering if Tinubu had tried this, would they have worked?
Why not? Why not?
You don't think the frenzy would have even transferred to this category, this level?
I think part of what Asiwaju Tinubu will avoid is that it would be better to get it over with, rather than have people, milling about and cause a commotion.
Yes, because that would have happened if he decided to sit in the crowd like this.
Yeah, so you can argue that it took a better decision to say.
Let's just say, let's move on. Immediately they left, order was restored to the polling unit.
So there's a sense of organization where Mr. Peter Obi is voting. Even the elderly man with a walking stick, moving from seat to seat. And what this shows to me is that the mere fact that almost in few seconds they are moving from seat to seat means that the process is fast and smooth.
That's a clear indication.
That's fine. And we still have a diet in Abuja, and we also would like to have your thoughts on what we are seeing, from here. Dr. Goodluck Jonathan in Bayelsa in Otuoke is casting his ballot already, and then Mr. Peter Obi, together with his wife, waiting, to
for their turn before they go. No privileges, no special considerations. Idayat, what are your thoughts?
I think it's welcome. It's again telling us that our leaders are beginning to show humility, and gradually people are stopping to take Nigerians really for granted. In other climes, I know that they will not accord special privileges to any presidential candidate to actually vote. They are citizens like us, but maybe because we are respectful, we do that. But today we are seeing that the contest is actually changing. People are beginning to finally see that the voters are actually the kingmaker in elections. And I love that. And we need to actually see more of it. And while the last panelist was talking, he raised very important issues. I think some of the things to add in these elections is that finally it is an open race, because the Buhari 12 million votes that he has consistently gotten from 6 million up to his 12 million since 2003, when he started vying in a presidential race, is now up for grab, with no certain person inheriting it.
What are your observations about this process?
First, let me thank all of you that are involved in the electoral process. The election, the INEC staff, the media people, the security and the government for where we have reached. Sometimes things look so easy, but practically it's a bit difficult. But I'm happy that at least I have voted. I was a bit worried when I got here by 8:30 and there was nobody. But this is almost to 12, but at least I have voted. That means that the election have commenced in this, at least in this unit. Maybe some parts of the world, and the materials are yet to get there. But we have tried to have started the elections. My wish for Nigeria is for us to conduct a peaceful election. And for us who are politicians, our conduct matters a lot. And I always tell politicians that, look, yes, you can win election through unorthodox means, just like using violence to win elections or buying votes and so on. But when you do that, you are behaving like an armed robber or a con man. Armed robber makes money through robbery, but everybody knows that it's an armed robber. A con man makes money through deceiving people, but everybody knows it's a con man. They are not decent members of society. Politicians are supposed to be decent members of society. So we must conduct our affairs very credibly, that both our supporters, our relatives, and so on should know that politics is a clean business, and allow people to vote who they want at any level of election. My plea is we, the politicians, the security people, the INEC operatives, should do the best for the country. The whole world is looking at us. So many senior global citizens are in Nigeria because of these elections. They want us to succeed, and we must not fail. Yes, the Beaver is improvement on the card reader. And I believe it will be better than the card reader. I don't think we are moving backward. We may still have some issues. It's technology. Even your phone, you have problems with your phone. Even if you buy one of the best smartphones, sometimes you still have problems. So I'm not expecting that your country, that the Beaver machines will work perfectly. But it's a significant improvement. And at least I have only 105 words. In fact, by 8:30, it's before 8:30. I've been observing elections in other countries. In most cases, everybody will be ready 30 minutes before the voting time. Everybody will be ready, including the those who vote. Everybody will queue waiting just for that time based on the law. But here, to 12 before we vote, that is not acceptable.
Your Excellency, you always stand on the path of peace, non-violent elections, and that's you're known around when you go around Africa and the world to preach this message during elections. What is your advice to whoever loses and whoever wins?
We've all said so. Remember some 3 days ago during the National Peace Accord where the candidates and the parties signed the commitment for peaceful elections. I would have been there physically, but I was in Bamako and I was a bit trapped. But my speech was read by Bishop Kuka, and all of us advised in the same way that, look, elections must be peaceful, and that politicians should know that they don't own this country, and nobody's political ambition is worth the blood of any Nigerian. Not at all. People should not begin to think, oh, I have money, I'm contesting as governor, I'm contesting as senator, I'm contesting as president, so people will die because you want to be president or you want to be governor. No. Totally unacceptable. And we must imbibe that. You'll be a president. Look, after I was a deputy governor, from deputy to president, that is 8 years in Aguaye, another 8 years in Abuja, but I'm back as an ordinary citizen. So you will leave that office. So you struggle to get the contestation for the position you want. Should not miss us as a human race. Should rather improve us as a human race, if you mean well for us.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we just heard from His Excellency, the former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Few minutes ago, he cast his ballot here at Otueke, Ward 13, Unit 39, and others are doing same. And so also his wife, Dame Patience Jonathan, and his mother came out to perform her civic duties. She has done just that. We believe that is how it will be here. Very peaceful, I must say. But then the recurring decimal of Nigerian elections, presidential elections in Bayelsa State is that.
Okay, thank you, Vieteme. I mean, that's the Labour Party candidate, Peter Obi, casting his ballot. And I think that after seeing Asiwaju and Atiku Abubakar, now we have the Labour Party candidate almost getting close to casting his ballot. But by the way, those who are very strong, clear, statesmanly delivery by the former president of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. Very.
I was hoping, because there were some things he said that there are words on marble, and I wish after this you cut out those words and put them somewhere. They are words for the ages.
Absolutely.
He said no contestation, should decrease us. Any contestation for position should not diminish us, but should increase us. And then he now says that the politician who behaves in an unorthodox manner and thinks that the only way to get to power is through violence, and through the rigging of election is like an armed robber.
He likened them to armed robbers.
These are strong words.
Very.
And he now says that look, that it's about the dignity of who we are.
Absolutely.
And then when we indulge in all of those things, we are diminished as people.
Yes.
And this is key. And if there's any politician in this country today that can make such statements and be allowed to get away with it, it is Jonathan, because he walked the talk. Absolutely. When he repeated what he said in 2015, before the election, that the blood of any single
election is not worth the blood of any.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's not worth the blood of any Nigerian.
Absolutely.
He showed it by the action that he took.
Absolutely.
And that was what brought us here. It is not worth my ambition.
Absolutely.
So I think he's in a position to make that statement.
Words on marble.
Exactly. Words on marble.
Why that even makes more sense now is that if you think about the way some of this campaign, the trail that they have taken, the length that they have gone to the mockery, the abuse, the degradation of human beings.
Yes.
You know, even making fun of somebody's ailment, if there's an ailment in itself, is a taboo.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I mean, Donald Trump tried this in America and it backfired. So I like the fact that you just said, Chike, that Jonathan has taken the high road and has left a legacy behind that others should follow.
Yes.
And then what is more important is that these candidates that we have, we should begin to look at the character, not just the party that you belong to.
Absolutely.
The character of the man. Do you understand?
Not a con man, not an armed robber. Those are very powerful statements. Powerful.
Yes.
This idea. Absolutely.
It's not about what party you belong to. It's not about what. Yes. It's not even about your political structure. That really shouldn't be why you will win an election. It helps, yes, if you have a good political structure.
Yes.
But it is not enough to make you win an election.
I think those words should hit at the very
credibility.
Very powerful words.
Very powerful.
Do
Very.
you understand?
The statement, I think, has shown that the former president is a leader, not because he has occupied leadership position, but he has that natural leadership quality.
Yes.
Some of his actions in the past, for example, it's not easy to give up in an election and concede defeat.
Especially as an incumbent.
In a continent whereby resigning is seen as weakness.
8 years after. 8 years after.
In Africa, we have presidents that are sick and are ready to die on that seat.
Telling you
for him to have
the
taken
power is transient and it's a contribute your quota and move on.
Can we use why to that?
All right, Idayat, we also have to bring you in based on what we are discussing here and what we are saying, on camera. The strong words by the former president of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, basically saying, be wary of con men, be wary of armed robbers, wary of armed robbers. And then on our screen, we have Peter Obi voting, and Kwankwanso in Kano, is also out to exercise his franchise. Idayat, what are your thoughts?
I think former President Goodluck Jonathan is indeed an elder statesman. And he has redefined politics. He has the words, and he's been so fantastic. In fact, that should be word on marble, like the last speaker said, and should actually strike deep into the minds of these politicians, really. This is the life of, the politics is not worth the blood of anybody that he has again said today.
No, absolutely. Very strong words there.
Even means that even though, yes, Buhari has also done his own bit by maybe ensuring that everything that we used to have a corrupt election has been subsided. In other words, changing of the naira. But we cannot appraise him as much as we are doing a Jonathan, because Jonathan had the power at the time to remain. Whereas with Buhari, it is his exit.
Yes.
He's not coming back.
We will wait
so you can afford to be
see,
magnanimous.
We will wait and see how this election pans out. But on social media, things are already flying that the president, sadly, unfortunately, is a repeated offender. That this is not the first time that he will show, he did it in 2015, the pictures are out.
Well, when he raised the...
Yes, in 2019, when he voted, and he raised it to show, and interestingly, voting for himself was at that time. I think it has to do with his persona, his style.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's so much that he did it because he was trying to send a message across. Because it was his body language wasn't supporting his party, and he was trying to send a message across. I just think he just got overly excited.
But a repeated offender he will be, because again, it's against the rule.
It is against the rule.
The handlers of the president, I haven't seen that he made that mistake in 2019. Should have spoken to him before he goes to the poll that, okay, boss, this is how you should do this, just to refresh his brain.
It's just a question of telling you that the president, the law does not allow what you are doing. Please don't do it this time around. You know, I mean,
I just think it's about excitement. I don't think it was
more on the words of the former president should be looked into in such a way that we will have laws and we will have institutions whereby it will make it difficult for a common man, for somebody to emerge through electoral fraud and all that. So I think
deceit.
Deceit. So I think we should move beyond placing it as a word of marble, and we try to look at it as words of wisdom that should be part of our policy. Because if we can remove those two
extract policies from what he's saying,
I think it will go a long way to increase performance in government, because when you know that it is the vote of the people, that is the only means whereby you can get power.
Does it look like we can see on the screen? Can we see how Kwakwanso is voting?
Yeah, but is he not lifting his?
And there are cameras.
Oh,
is that similar to what the president did?
No, the president was more obvious.
There's no cubicle. There's no cubicle.
That's why don't they have the white cubicle?
That's what we're saying, that there's no cubicle. And then there are cameras,
and the place seems to be an enclosed. If you are considering the electoral guidelines, this is also.
That's what I'm saying. That there should be a cubicle.
The secrecy of the vote.
Absolutely.
Is critical.
Absolutely.
But the cameras seem to be snapping the pictures.
That's what we're saying.
Because it should have been the only one within the curriculum.
Why is it so disorganized? Why is it?
Another thing is, when a presidential candidate is voting, crowd might be expected in terms of the media and maybe some of his.
No, but they created no.
So I don't think.
But they created a cubicle.
There should be a distance. They created. And he ought to have been the only one.
No, I'm saying they created a cubicle for Tinubu, even as rowdy as it was. They built a cubicle there and then.
The standard practice is that there will be a cubicle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Where,
in this case,
where the voter,
and I think it should be an open space.
Imagine it's too crowded.
Voting like this during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes.
It should be an open space.
That's the law. Yeah.
No, but why is there no cubicle? Why are they so close to him?
This is a question for INEC to answer, because this does not look good. It does not look good.
It is so
and
wrong.
Security-wise, it's not even okay
around him
for the candidate.
Who he voted for.
It's not even okay for the candidate, because what it looks like is that Kwakwanso is under siege.
He
is. And this is not tidy. This is not tidy.
It's not tidy at all.
This is not tidy.
And
ideally, he ought to leave the cubicle before you can grant an interview to the media.
So that other voters can vote. Because
can move there.
You can't stay
exactly.
I think these have been the most disorganized ones.
And now other voters can't cast their vote just because he is still standing there.
So you see that we are
absolutely wrong. What it shows is the INEC officials, because look, the officials are the ones that
now they're trying to chaperone him out of. But again, the media is still standing in the way. So what it means is that nobody can vote while Kwakwanso is still in there.
It's not even safe. You remember you were talking about proximity. Yeah. Anybody can be there to try to harm him. Somebody can be there with a knife.
So we have now seen the difference. We have seen Asiwaju. We have seen Atiku. We have seen Peter Obi, and now Kwakwansia.
Well, the safest so far are Peter Obi and Atiku. As for Asiwaju and Kwakwanso, it's been mayhem. But more so here, because it's very dangerous. Anybody could be holding a tool.
Yes, you don't have everybody there. It's his friends or his supporters.
It's not tidy.
And you can tell
even his security details obviously will be overwhelmed. The way things are. Look at where they are voting.
It should be an open space.
So what
health and safety in Tatas?
The investment has been put on security.
Health and safety in Tatas, obviously.
Security personnel that they said they put on ground. Where are they? None.
Everybody overwhelmed.
There's nobody in uniform.
Everybody overwhelmed. Somebody should have chaperoned him outside of that enclosure.
How did you get there in the first place?
No, that's where apparently that's where that's Peter Obi outside of the voting area. Now giving his speech to me.
Okay, his own stampede is starting after he has registered.
He has even voted.
Oh, after he has voted.
He has voted, you know.
No, this Kwakwazo one, there's something wrong. There's something gone wrong here.
It's not
totally gone wrong.
It's not tidy.
Sir, so you have exercised your. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so we have the two candidates about giving their speech almost at the same time.
Okay,
One
sir, you are
in
live now on
Agulu.
TV.
Okay.
Okay, sir, you have exercised your civil rights. So, the process for us.
Well, for me, you know, that was why I came. You saw me the queue seamlessly. That's it. When I came, I was to see. We didn't be able to vote.
You know that it was, but Kwakwanso, let's see whether
He's certainly not seamless. You can't say
if he will be satisfied.
It looks like he has been ambushed.
Absolutely, you know. But again, they seem to enjoy the crowd thing. You heard what I said.
But he's not enjoying the crowd thing. He's rattled.
I hope that we will hear him speak clearly and give his verdict on.
Did you see the sticks from the roof,
process.
from the ceiling? Any of them could have fallen over.
Okay, so let's hear him now.
It's not written on the ballot paper. And not only that, it is not very clear. So these are one of the challenges that maybe it has to be addressed maybe in the near future.
All right, Your Excellency. This is the first time beavers will be used in appointing voters for the election. What is your impression and from the situation report you have gathered from all your polling agents across the country? How has been the performance of the beavers so far?
Now, you see, what? The election was started late, after 11. The system is abyssal. I went to that where I was supposed to vote, but my name was not there. I had to come to this box. And I think it's applicable to many people here and elsewhere. I want to appeal to INEC to be more careful, to be a little bit more patient, so that everybody, look at the number of people around, can be able to vote before they close. I think that is very important. And I'm sure it is not only here, but across the country, some of the places may witness such an issue which should be addressed by INEC. Well, I'm yet to receive many reports, but I believe very soon we'll get reports across.
Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you very much.
But what are your expectations? What are your expectations on the conduct of today's exercise?
Sorry?
This election, what are your expectations?
What are?
In terms of the conduct, what are your expectations?
Well, we are expecting free, fair, and credible election. Here, they started voting. INEC was only ready for voting by after 11. And if you look at the number, the thousands of people that are around, and the time it takes for one person, I believe they need to be a bit patient and make sure that...
A massive turnout, this being your stronghold, how would you react to the fact that
You know?
in the southeast of the country, there's this concerns over
Okay. If we are here now, I'm sure you're secure here. So it's not like there's security over throughout Nigeria. If you wait or measure it, Southeast remains one of the most secure places in Nigeria. But our own is exaggerated and often...
See, when we told you, are you set? Okay, we told you earlier that when it comes to Kano, especially here, the seats, the stronghold, the hometown of Kwakwanso, you can only expect a fanatical devotion and a cult followership because of the personality in question, in context here, talking about the NMP presidential candidate, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. You can see the love, you can see the passionate friendship that Kwankwaso has demonstrated here in terms of the crowd followership. You can see the crowd, it has defied the control, it has defied even the temperature in Kano, and everyone, most people have come out here to celebrate and show solidarity for their own beloved leader, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. It's indeed a very intriguing one. The political pageantry here is quite impressive. And we asked the question if that would be taken beyond the spheres of Kano, and he kept quiet. He withdrew. He kept the sealed lips when that question was thrown at him. But for now, from what we can see, we have seen a fanatical devotion, a crowd followership, because of their belief in the Kwankwasia philosophy that he has been able to introduce to the lives and people of Kano State. So from the Kwakwanso town in Kano State, we say back to you, Steve and Ruth.
Thank you, Benga Shiru. A good job there from Kano. But again, like we were discussing, it's quite concerning that's the situation in Kano. Not surprising, but quite concerning that Ruth, we discussed this earlier.
I know, but what I think is more worrisome is that, did he just say that they didn't start voting until 11 o'clock?
That's what he said. That's what he said. And that will not come as a surprise, because Benga did report, at the beginning. That,
but I wonder, why didn't they have a booth there like they did for the rest? Why didn't they have the polling booths there? I wonder why.
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
I think that's part of the confusion.
Yeah, well, these are questions again that have to be asked. And they are being asked, obviously, because the guideline is very, very specific about such things. We are supposed to have that booth, and you're supposed to have it located in an open space that is accessible to everybody, including people with, disabilities.
One cannot but wonder if there's a political twist to it.
Well, we'll find out. Hopefully, nothing
underplay.
We can't speculate.
We can't speculate.
I'm just speculating. Because it was very strange.
Yeah, but what is obvious is that we are not seeing the ideal, and that is what is concerning.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being with us.
All right.
It's been the most exciting morning, I must say.
Absolutely. So we want to thank everyone. Ruth, go on.
Steve, thank you. Okay, you are giving me the honors.
Please do go on.
Thank you for all our guests that have been here today. Thank you for the opinions that have been shared. Thank you for a most riveting morning. And we do hope that everyone will go out and vote to make a difference. So by this time, in the next 4 years, we are discussing more positive things about Nigeria.
I enter from my putra go kwakwalata. Money mota kasu face ya wanta. I know fit for some if it don't pass my power. I roll up a shawarma, I get for kwakwalata. I enter from my putra go kwakwalata. Money mota kasu face ya wanta. I know fit fast, I don't fit you pass my power. I roll up my shawarma, I get for kwakwalata.
Info, Maulana, on God, you let me ask God. I live flaming, with your mashami, from me, no way, Wahabi. I look, God, I'm over. Can't you see? Look over. Would you marry be a manager? Love this song to my ocean. Loving you is a crime. Baby, don't you waste my time. That's my pussy. I'm up here, I did forget Kuala. Call me back, Mata.
I enter from my butcher, Kuala. Only mota kasu face ya wanta. I know fit for some if don't pass my power. I roll up a shawarma, I dey for Kuala.
On to the next one, give me ginger, give me power, more
you surprise me, hold me, girl, control me.
On to the next one, give me ginger, give me power, more
until someone for me, not be shy.
I enter from the Nicolo Big. Give me ginger, give me power, more
you surprise me, hold me, girl, control me.
On to the next one, give me ginger, give me power, more
until someone for me, not be shy.
I enter from a puta kukwalata. Oni motaka sufesi ya water. I know fit fast, I don't fit to pass my power. I roll up my shawarma, I dey for kwakwalata.
I enter from my butcher, kwakwalata. Oni motaka sufesi ya water. I know fit for some if it don't pass my power. I roll up a shawarma, I dey for kwakwalata.
The Nicolo Big, man, more beach, and he's an audition. In Nicolo Big, my Nicolo Big, man, Nicolo. The Nicolo Big, Nicolo, she's a Nicolo mission.
This year, Bunny Slope will undergo a complete rebranding so that we can become...
Done. I just hired a freelance brand designer in Fiverr. She's got lots of experience with this kind of thing.
Great. We're also going to launch an e-commerce website.
Done. I found a web developer.
And we're going to
and a social media manager. And an SEO expert.
Well, I guess that's lunch.
This year, your best business plan is Fiverr. Expand your team with a talented freelancer. And
done.
Most entrepreneurs don't have a business. They have a funnel, and their funnel is a turd. Why? Because they're doing ordinary crap, like running crappy ads to a crappy landing page with a crappy value video on it. And then they just cover that turd in gold. And then they wonder why their hair's going 50 shades of grey from dealing with a never-ending shitstorm of rising ad costs, poor conversion rates, and an income that's a feast one month and a famine the next. That's the quickest way to murder your happiness with a chainsaw. 1 star, total crap, would not recommend. Because a couple of years ago, I was no different. When I started my business from a rented bedroom with no more than $50 and an old computer that my girlfriend had bought me. I was desperately cold calling strangers just to find new clients. But then over the past couple of years, I discovered a selling system that changed everything.
In 2014, out of a bedroom, digital marketing agency King Kong has grown into Australia's fastest growing full-service digital marketing agency.
And the 17th fastest growing company in the entire country.
Someone who has impacted over 250,000 businesses.
And one of the best marketers in the world.
He is just an absolute weapon when it comes to getting clients.
So how did I go from cold calling strangers just to find new clients to building the 17th fastest growing company in the country and having a wait list of new clients? Well, it's because this selling system led me to discover the single most effective and hottest new way to turn complete strangers into high-paying clients like clockwork at wild scale. And it's working better than anything else online right now. How do I know? Because it's not just me. Thousands of people have copied and pasted my exact system to flood their business with as many clients as they can possibly handle. Take Raf. He used this system on his coaching business and went from working out the back of a friend's yoga studio, barely breaking even at $20K per month, to now doing over $500,000 per month. Or what about Michael and Diana, who copied and pasted this system for their professional services business and went from doing $300K per month to over $2 million per month? Or what about Nicola, who used it on her digital agency and tripled her sales in just 3 months? And the results keep going and going and going, because this system is responsible for generating over $1.33 billion in sales. That's Billy with a B, in over 416 different industries and niches. And I've found that no matter what you're selling or to whom you're selling it to, that there is a universal formula to predictably and consistently turn complete strangers into high-paying clients like clockwork. And Christmas must have come early this year, because I have some good news for you. I've just detailed this new and unique 8-phase selling system in my brand new book, Sell Like Crazy. It shot up from being ranked 90,000 on the day of release to a #1 international Amazon bestseller in 10 minutes flat. It retails for $24.95 plus $13 shipping and handling on Amazon, but today I want to send you a copy for free. Look, I'll pay for the book. All I ask is that you help me out and chip in for the shipping and handling. And I'll send this puppy anywhere in the world. Simply click on the link in this ad and it's yours free. And listen, most business books suck harder than a Dyson, but mine doesn't. It's got thousands of 5-star reviews from people in every corner of the earth who have used it to get more clients. And they all started by clicking the link below. But you're probably wondering why I'm handing these little bad boys out like ice cream at summer camp. Don't worry, I explain all of that and more on the link below. So click the link right now and get your free copy today. Let us now pause and share a moment of silence for the poor suckers who haven't clicked the link yet. Just do it. Okay, what about a crisp high five?
Spyro, now only me one life. See us we day like this sunrise. I will never leave your side. I will never ever. I dedicate my time to you, my guy. Even if the road be rough, I don't mind. 'Cause you be my G for life. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight. Cause I did here with my guys. I got plenty for my mind, but right now I'm with my guy. I don't fear them got my back. So you don't see my formation. I call out big combination. Steady inspiration. I'm 100 concentration. When my guys them follow, bad energy far away. I thank God for my real G's. Good friends don't be money. Who you don't like? Now only me, like. See us we day like this, sunrise. I will never leave your side. I will never ever. I dedicate my time to you, my guy. Even if the road be rough, I don't mind. 'Cause you be my G for life. Yo, 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 yo.
Small businesses are what turn a town into a community. So when it comes to keeping small businesses connected, our network is the backbone they can count on. We're Spectrum Business, your local business internet, TV, phone, and mobile provider.
$1 million baby, ọmọ dúdú bí kóró èṣe. Wọ́n fẹ́ lámì ẹgbà mi. I don dey see screenshots. Match reset put in order. Like I mi ò ní jọba. Pussycat put in Russia. Simultaneous equation gas balance. Find X or Y. Assignment for those who dey doubt me.
Ó jábọ́ ti sẹ́ ọmọ náà bounce. Ìràwọ̀ ni mi yọ ojú rí wọn efficacy. Ìgbọ́sọ̀ ní $1 billion tó lè yá mi. I no dey put mama for anything wey no concern me. Ó fẹ́ yọ sọ, ó yà pẹ̀lú mọ́. Ìdọ̀tí kẹ̀ ìwọ̀ sí kẹ̀ ṣé ẹ lọ́mọ lógun máa fara mọ́. Mo dárò mọ́jú mo ṣe gara tán. Ṣú gbẹ̀gbẹ̀ balẹ̀ sága lẹ́sẹ̀. Ọmọ lógun gara lọ.
Bẹ̀rẹ̀ torí ànábì. Bàbá Fatima. Jẹ́ kí n mọ bó ṣe lọ. Mo fẹ́ débẹ̀ jẹ́ kí n pọ̀nkì. Once débẹ̀ is débẹ̀ for life ti rí ẹ̀. Mi kásá, sùkásá. Ìdábàdí tó ní làǹbà. Ìbára bàjá. Abracadabra, propaganda. Ìlàyà púpọ̀. Kò sí ohun tó burú. Fìlà orí rẹ̀ ìtàdé dì í. Ogun tánà. $1 billion well. Ẹ̀bí náà tó bá pa náà. Àṣàlá tún jọmọ́. Tí bá lọ rí mi bàmọ́. Ogun tánà. Ẹ̀bí náà tó bá pa náà. Àṣàlá tún jọmọ́.
Gbẹ́bọ̀ sórí ṣù, fàjà bóògùn, gbẹ́bọ̀ sórí ta, ó lọ chọ́ọ̀chì, ó lọ mọ́sìkì. Money is the most of my own ṣe ń kọ́, àsìkò bẹ́gò lórí méjì, ó fẹ́ fún mi owó ṣọ́ra. Bí n ta ọ̀sìn mọ̀ náà kò fẹ̀rọ̀ pẹ̀sẹ̀ jáde, ayé tó dùn, ayé tó palazzo. Kò sí táìmù fẹ́ fi $1 million rago, mo fẹ́ o balance kì í bú sẹ́wìn kì í ní kọ́ bá mi yí gbó. No girl was a broke nigga. Ó wà káwá ò jẹsẹ̀ mo tẹ́ fọmọ ṣẹ́ nigga. Àwọn tó wù mí tán ní kí wá àgbègbà lọ́wọ́ lọ́pẹ́ rẹ̀ kò sáré fún àwọn mẹ́ẹ̀mọ́.
Mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ torí ànábì. Bàbá Fatima. Jẹ́ kí n mọ bó ṣe lọ. Mo fẹ́ débẹ̀ jẹ́ kí n pọ̀nkì. Once débẹ̀ is débẹ̀ for life ti rí ẹ̀. Mi kásá, sùkásá. Ìdábàdí tó ní làǹbà. Ìbára bàjá. Abracadabra, propaganda. Ìlàyà púpọ̀. Kò sí ohun tó burú. Fìlà orí rẹ̀ ìtàdé dì í. Ogun tánà. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ bí náà tó bá pa náà. Àṣàlá tún jọmọ́. Tí bá lọ rí mi bàmọ́. Ogun tánà. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ bí náà tó bá pa náà. Àṣàlá tún jọmọ́. Tí bá lọ rí mi bàmọ́. Ogun tánà. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ bí náà tó bá pa náà. Àṣàlá tún jọmọ́. Tí bá lọ rí mi bàmọ́. Ogun tánà. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ bí náà tó bá pa náà. Àṣàlá tún jọmọ́. Tí bá lọ rí mi bàmọ́.
The estimated hold time is now 96 minutes.
Keep passing for them. Oh, my secret.
Now so them they do. Back everybody like it's sardine. With the galivanti up and down. Forget to say, body no be machine. What the taxi go to generate. What the cash no to circulate. And when we start to calculate, everybody can be agitate. Oh, I kick it. Give me a minute, pass me the gala. Hustle critical, we no feel retire. Ojo cinema, it don't turn wahala. Many animal, they put on agbada. I get medicine, we take cure anything. It take cure poverty, bring prosperity. Many things. Every day we can see many things.
Cause it's a critical reaction. Why can't you not get information? All on fire information. Population day for prostitution. I say them mama, them papa, them they cry. They don't know how bikini they buy. Money no day, they drink kai. Give me mineral, pass me the galaxy. I know Sikira, she don't also tire. With the way she dey was supposed wear designer, but she don't be baller, she don't know the balance. I talk my own, I done dey go. Conductor, oh, you stop for road, oh, you get money, you chop below, you run below, you punch low.
Why you no give me change, Ambara?
They do us so joro.
I got the driver, I tell conductor, say waka.
They do us so joro.
Stop the motor, I need to come down a tire.
They do us so joro.
Kata everything, scatter, the face wahala.
They do us so joro.
I kick it. I kick it.
I'm Chris Voss, and over the next 30 days,
Jiggy, no. Oh no. Ulama, I dey on my tento. I don't tell you tired, make we dey like extra cool. Oh, and we go back to the time when this love is share better. You know I love you, but I'm always on the road. Can't lie, you put me in the mood, and I know you want that too. And I carry shoulder down for you, job. I'ma be me back. I don't make my spine loose. I don't make my spine loose. I don't carry shoulder down for you, job. I'ma be me back. I know I like. You thinking to no one come out for my head. No one come out for my head. On my life, never seen me get so fine like in my life. I must confess. Baby, look, oh yeah, family, so see me anyhow, mama. So see me anyhow, my darling. I know you know easy to understand me. You know I love you, but I'm always on the road. Can't lie, you put me in the mood, and I know you want that too. And I carry shoulder down for you, job. I'ma be me back. I don't make my spine loose. I don't make my spine loose. I don't carry shoulder down for you, job. I'ma be me back. I'm all alive. For my head. No one come out for my head. I'm my life. Never seen a girl so fine like in my life. I must confess. I must confess. I'm you ringing to no one come out for my head. No one come out for my head. I'm my life. Never seen a girl so fine like in my life. I must confess.
Back then they no feel us. The way they no take a man serious. Ask if I'm moving, never giving up. Now my dreams I'm living up. Now that they find us like one plot for peanut. The way that they chop, I'm like peanut. They be like, no go kill us. Save us, Jesus. Obey, I'm sorry for the banana. Oh, I fell up in mama, wow. I'm out too long, my father, wow. I can shout, first with the most I know Santana. Since I be bolo da be Kagawa. Oh, let me mori with the bandana. I want to do no. If it's a woman, go no. Am I just straight, you know? Am I just straight, you know? The way you move around, I love my tears on the power. Anybody my for come out. All of my tears on power. Shame is not too nice. If I something I like, I go on know the price. Make my temperature they rise. I don't know myself. They have no idea what's going on in my head. Going on in my head. Oh, I'm sorry for the banana. Oh, I fell up with my wow. I'm too long, my father. Wow. I can shout. Don't see the most I know Santana. Sabi Bolo da Bikagawa. Oh, let me move it to bandana. I want to know. If it's up on my gun, no. Am I the good to know? My gift to do is to know. Oh, go around. I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out.
Dropshipping gurus are lying to you if they tell you it's impossible to be 100% compliant with your
Open the fire, play the bedroom, let them know. No finish you, no finish you. Man no fit tire, every day I'm on the road. No limit you, no limit you. Hey, this now so good. Would you turn down for would you robo? Many things we can do. Tori, I'm into you. Would you wire for you? Tonight I'll be dancing at the pen away. Yeah. You lava. Give me your hand and shoulder. To see shoulder get up. Blessings for your head up. You lava. Give me your hand and shoulder. But I know go get us. Better go locate us. You lava. Give me your hand and shoulder. To see shoulder get up. Blessings for your head up. You lava. Give me your hand and shoulder. But I know go get us. Better go locate us. And I'm like Vuvuzela. No one can do you better. You body follow from me. Why now go shoddy? Love the energy tonight. Where could they my side? But now you dey my mind. Man, would you don't show? Listen now, so good. Would you turn down for who? Would you robo? Many things we can do. Tori, I'm into you. Would you wire for you? Tonight I'll be dancing at the pen away. Yeah. Blessings for your head up. You lava. Give me your hand and shoulder. But I know go get us. Better go locate us. You lava. Give me your hand and shoulder. To see shoulder get up. Blessings for your head up. You lava. Give me your hand and shoulder. But I know go get us. Better go locate us.
Cake in the break room.
cake in the break room. There's cake in the break room. Going away.
Fine girls for my bed, and you know oil in my head. 10 girls on my bed, all of them naked, undressed. We know where the ball like this, we know where they spend like this. And the money pass see, star boy with the ball pass this. I be king pay Weezy, my blessing. Gunners love out, don't test me. If you try, I'm a wash out boy. You keep poop. When they let the money talk. Girls now they twerk. When we enter, we pop.
I begin play Rexy. What bestie? New Jersey, I'm not Chelsea. Gunners love out, no testing. Don't call me, don't vex me. Hello, Diamond, no pressing. Make pressing, no chassis. Malinera, don't